Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Fixing It Up with Sandra. If you're new here, I'm Sandra, and today I'm gonna answer some more of your questions. Because you guys are all beginners, and some of you guys are seasoned veterans like me when it comes to wreath making or just creating whatever kind of products you love to create. And oftentimes, like I said, I just did one tutorial about how you should price your products. It was towards wreaths, but it's basically the same formula for any product that you make. And then again, I get this question all the time is how do you, where do you even start to sell your product? So if you've been following me for the last couple of years, you will have seen my transition from selling off of my porch to doing farmers markets, to being in this little tiny vendor mall, to owning my own store. And if you're new and this is the first video you've ever watched, I'll talk more about how I've made these steps. I did it quite fast. And it's, I'll tell that story when we get there, but it happened very fast for me and it happened during the pandemic. I'll tell you what I learned, what I would recommend for the do's and don'ts. But today I'm just gonna talk to you about how to get started and show you some of the products that I make and how I have them here in my store and what I do. So let me turn the camera around. I do want to say I am in my store today right now. We are open, so there might be lots of cuts, whatnot, if people are coming in. So just brace yourself for that. But I will try to make this video short and sweet and to the point and hopefully give you the information you are looking for. I know the lighting's pretty bad in here because we're looking towards the window, but here you can see I have quite a few of my wreaths. This is my massive, I love this wreath right here. I have them right there. I've got them on the door. I've got them down low. Here are all of the candles that I make. And I do a lot of stuff with my Cricut. I've got some tumblers right there. We're gonna keep walking through. Here is my candle section. I just love my wax melts, all of this. And we're gonna go over to where my bath bombs and my shower steamers, my sugar scrubs, my soaps. I make a lot of the stuff here. I've got my body sprays. I do a subscription box. And I also do room and linen sprays. So when I started out selling all of this, I literally started selling this style of candle off my front porch right here, this kind right here. So I started selling off my porch. And this was during COVID. So I've been in the service industry for 15 plus years. I've waitressed, housekeeping, all of that stuff. So when the pandemic hit, I lost my job, started selling candles off my porch because I was already making some and I needed to figure out an income. So I set up a cute little station, something similar to this right here on my porch. And I told everybody on social media. I started friending all kinds of people in my community. If they had mutual friends, I created a business page and started just friending everybody. Had a little stand on my porch and started selling that way. And if you're in a small town like I am, you can go into some small businesses. You're gonna have to do the footwork in order to get where I am at, because I did the footwork and that's how I got to this space. And I would ask, people like, hey, would you mind if I could sell maybe like 10 of my candles in here and do what's called a consignment deal, where maybe they get a portion of the sale, they get maybe 40% of the sale and you get 60% of it. Maybe you'll rent a tiny little space in their store to display something, like my friend right here. So this is not my merchandise right here. This is a friend of mine. And instead of charging her space rent, I'm just taking a portion of her sales. So you can do that. You can just get your foot into the door. If you're doing candles, maybe like a beauty salon might be willing to put a little bit of something. A friend of mine who owns a beauty salon did that for me. If you're selling wreaths, what you can do is maybe just offer the business one wreath. Can I just bring you one wreath? You can hang it on your door, and if it sells, I'll split it with you. You know, that kind of deal. And sometimes you're just going to have to give away some of your products. It's just the name of the game to get your foot in the door. I have made wreaths for people at the courthouse, and you know, for a holiday, I'm like, hey, can I make this for you? I've made this. Can I give it to you? Restaurants. I know around here in my community, because we're such a small community, you will often see like local artwork or whatnot. So maybe you can bring a wreath to your favorite restaurant, and just get your foot in the door. Again, you can see if they're willing to split a cost, all of that fun stuff, but you got to start somewhere, especially if you're not ready to do like a farmer's market kind of deal. If you're not ready to take that leap, or you're like, you know what, I still just want to like get my feelers out, like, are people interested? And just get out there and, you know, start knocking on some doors, knocking on some businesses' doors, because you never know what people are willing to do for you. And again, that's how I got my start. I gave away candles. I still to this day give plenty of stuff away. I give wreaths away, especially because I have so many. But that's how you can get your foot in the door. Make sure that you have a business card, and you don't have to go and get a fancy business card whatsoever. Avery sells blank business cards. Create your own through Canva and then print them at home. Way cheaper, and it's just enough for you to be like, here you go. And you can also staple your business card to that wreath. So somebody's like admiring it, they're like, where did this come from? Your business card is right on back, how they can contact you, find you on social media. All of that information is so helpful, especially if somebody was like, hey, I really want this, and they want to be able to have quick access to your information. So when it comes to wreath making, I don't ship wreaths. And the reason why I don't ship wreaths is because, first of all, it's super expensive to ship. And I know that's not on me, that's on the customer. If they're willing to pay for that kind of shipping, then more power to you. And also, I don't want to carry those boxes because I do so many different sizes. So I didn't want to carry the boxes, and the boxes are expensive themselves. It's totally up to you how you want to sell. Start out on Facebook Marketplace. If you live in a small town, maybe you guys can meet up so there's no delivery. Like, hey, if you're willing to meet me at this coffee place, I can save you $25 on shipping. So there's ways around it, and I know not everybody wants to meet up in person, especially, you know, when you're a little like, I don't know. but that is an option. But yes, if you're gonna do shipping, make sure that you are doing your homework when it comes to finding the packaging for it, because I know Uline is one of them that you can use. I have compared prices with like Uline, and there's another one I can't remember, so sorry, but I compare that to Amazon, because even though I have Amazon Prime, I know I'm paying for like that yearly subscription. There is a cost to it, but when I add it to, like, when I compare it to like the shipping cost of like what Uline would ship, like you could find a cheap box on there, but then it's $75 for shipping, and you're like, wow, that's just for like one bunch. So sometimes Amazon can be a lot cheaper when it comes to the packaging. So, you know, definitely shop around, Google, maybe your local, you know, Pack and Mail will be able to help you out, especially if you're buying in bulk. Those are all options for you to, just search around, and maybe they have ideas, like maybe like, hey, go to like your local UPS store or whatnot and say, hey, like, do you know where I can buy boxes wholesale, because I am going to be needing quite a few of these. But that's what I would do. And again, like I said, farmers markets, any kind of market that they do in your community, jump on that, because even though there is a fee to join something like that, I think my local farmers market is like maybe $20 a day or something like that. I think of it as I'm saving money on shipping that wreath. That's why I'm like, oh, I always think about the cost. I'm passing on that cost to my customers. So like at the farmers market, I will have 20 wreaths and tell all my friends and whatnot. And I'm like, if you come here, you don't have to pay for the shipping. So that's just something that I do. And let's see, how else? Like, yeah, just sometimes I give away baskets to the people at the bank. I often bring goodies to people at my local bank because they tell everybody, and they'll be willing to let you put up signs like, can I just leave my business cards here? Or can I just leave like a little poster here? That's how you can get started. It's very easy to do, and I say that meaning that there doesn't have to be a lot of cost in it if you're willing to do the legwork. I don't want you to just automatically say, oh my gosh, I have to open up an Etsy store, I've got to learn how to edit photos, I've got to do all this. No, just again, having this storefront. I had a lady come in here with these beautiful dog, they're like this wooden stand, and the dog bowls went in it, gorgeous. And I don't know how she did it, but she was literally carrying 3 of them with her, and they were about $100 a piece, and she was selling them. She's like, oh yeah, I sold one to so-and-so, and she did. I saw them all on social media the next day. But she was like, hey, I have a whole bunch of these and I'm willing to walk around and do the legwork. And man, she did. She sold quite a bit. Not to me. I couldn't afford it at the time. But she did it. And that's what you got to do. That's what I do. And that's where I say to start. Pick a nice day, get your favorite podcast on, and, walk your town and see who's willing to let you put your product in their space. So that's where I would start out. When it comes to shipping though, shipping is always like a huge thing. I use Pirate Ship. Now here's the thing. If you use Pirate Ship, you cannot use the post office's box, because the United States Post Office will send you boxes. You can get all the boxes that you want in the world. They're all free. They'll send them right to you. But the catch is, you've gotta go into the post office and go by their rates. Now, can you probably get away with, sending out 4 or 5 boxes? Sure. With using Pirate Ship on a United States Post Office box? Yes, that can happen. That very much can happen. However, there are times where there's somebody who is on their A game, had their morning coffee, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute here. This has got a Pirate Ship label, and they're using our box. So, and they will send it right back to you, hands down. Or they can charge your Pirate Ship account. They can say, oh, you owe us this money, and it will reflect into Pirate Ship. Because I've done that. I've been off a couple of times, not by much, but because you have to measure your box and weigh it and everything like that. But it will go back onto your Pirate Ship account. Or sometimes they'll just be like, hey, we're not even going to ship it until you get this all corrected, and they will send that back to you. And so you just don't, I don't know, I'm just like, I just want to mess with all of that. So I'm just going to buy my own boxes and use Pirate Ship. And like I said, when you use Pirate Ship, you will need to be able to measure your boxes, simple measuring tape, and weigh them. So you have to get a scale to weigh them. I do have a scale that I use for my candles and all of that, which is a nice size because, sometimes my boxes are a little bit bigger, and I use it for everything. So, so you do need those items. I always recommend investing in a scale because if you're cooking, whatever, it's just great to have. But you will need those, but you will be saving quite a bit, which is what I love. Pirate Ship is amazing. I've never had an issue, and they work with the United States Post Office and UPS. So it'll just find the best rates for you, whatnot, and then you will figure out which one you need to go to. So that is that. I'm trying to think of all of the things that I can offer you when it comes to starting your business. If you're not somebody who was on social media, you're like, I only do YouTube. I hate to say it, but you gotta get on social media if you want to sell your product, because social media is free. It's free advertising. It is, I know, like, I'm not always a big fan of like getting on Facebook and seeing all this stuff, but I create my business pages and I maintain them and I just focus on my business. And what I also love to do is follow other small businesses that are similar to mine for no other reason but simple support. You gotta comment, you gotta like, you gotta be interactive. Like I said, it takes a lot of work to do a business, but it's like all of these things that I'm telling you are free. It just takes that motivation, that want, that drive. And social media, as so many people were like, I just don't want to deal with it. When you are on Facebook or Instagram, I'm not a TikTok person, sorry, but Pinterest, all of that, you've gotta, get out there, because again, it's free and thousands and millions of people are using these platforms. So, or get on here on YouTube and talk about your product. But that is the way that you can sell your items, get your name out there. Like, I am trying to like dip my toes in all the waters, because I really want to create a brand that is sustainable. It's going to last for a long time, and it's going to be all of the different stuff. And that is why I call my store Fixing It Up with Sandra. And so many people are like, well, why don't you name it like Sandra's Gifts or something? Because I'm like, this store is so much more than that. This is a place where I have a lot of my creations. But when people come in here, I want them to be able to come in here for advice, I love this bath bomb. Like, did you make it? How did you make it? I got a YouTube tutorial for that. I want to be able to, like, this is like my second home. And so this is where I want people to come for more than just buying a gift. But yeah, I literally started selling off of my porch during the pandemic. And the pandemic, it was hard. And then I ended up getting into what's called a vendor mall. There was a space here in town, and one person ran it, and they were like the overseer. They were the business. And you would go in there, and this building was huge, and there was like sections. There was like a bunch of little rooms and whatnot, and there was one space. It cost me $350 a month for this space, which was really quite nice. And then she took 15% of my sales for my items. And so with that, I had to factor in the cost of my space and the cost of the percentage that I was giving to her, and that determined the price of my candles. And because that's what I was really selling in the beginning. And because I was under her umbrella, I didn't have to get a business license or anything like that. It was just, she would write us all a check at the end of the month from her business account, and that's how she paid us. And this was amazing for me, because I was able to kind of just see, okay, like, what do I want to sell? How do I sell? How do I display? How do I do anything? I didn't know how to do anything. And this gave me the freedom, because I didn't have to be there. One person ran the entire store. It happened to me that ran the entire store. But all of the other vendors could come in, do a little, switching around, bring in items, whatnot. And when you would price your stuff, you would write like your initials on it and then the price. So when somebody came up to buy something, I saw your initials and I'm like, oh, this belonged to, so-and-so. But it really allowed me, and I was able to go to each person's different space. There was like over 30 of us in one building. Like I said, this building was huge. And I was able to go through and go, oh, okay, I see how they're displaying things. Oh, that's great. Or, oh, okay, I can bring that in. And again, it was just wonderful to have that opportunity. And I've seen them in multiple towns. Like there's several of these, and I call them vendor malls. I don't know what, like if there's like a correct like word for them, but maybe you can find one in your area. And again, the space that I had when I say it was $350 was a nice space. Some people literally only had like a wall section. It was just a shelf, and they paid like $75 for the shelf, you know? So, there are different avenues to go down when it comes to selling your product. And these are just some of the things that I have done. We will talk another time about how I went from porch selling to store and all of the stuff in between, because when I tell you this story, it's going to blow your mind, because this has all happened in 3 years. 3 years. I went from selling on my porch to owning this business in 3 years, not knowing a single damn thing about owning a business. Nothing. So anyways, yeah, so that's the advice that I would give you guys, or that I am giving you guys, on like, where do you even start? Because it is possible to get where I am today. You don't have to have a lot of money, because I don't have a lot of money. You don't have to have all the knowledge. It's when people say their business is their baby, I like fully believe it now, because you can do all of the things that you need to prepare for it. You can have all of the newest things that babies should have or businesses should have, and then you get in it and you're just like, I'm never gonna need that. Why did I get that? Why did I think this was gonna be this way? And you won't know how to run your business until you cannonball into that pool and you're doing it. So yeah, so I am doing it. And, you know, I dealt with my cancer not even halfway into this. Yeah, well, maybe halfway into this, but I had to deal with cancer through this, and yet I'm still here. So, anyways, I hope I answered some of your questions. And you know what? We're going to take another tour through the shop just so you can see what's here. And there is a link to my shop in the description box below. There's a link because I have a website to this store that I'm so proud of and I've worked so hard for. But yeah, this can be you standing in your very own store in a matter of years. So anyways, let me know in the comments if you have any questions or you are curious about my shop or anything else that I talked about in this episode. So let's take a tour one last time. So here is where I spend my days when I'm not at home doing YouTube tutorials with you guys. I am here curating displays, finding items, you know, just doing all of the stuff, learning. I'm constantly on my computer trying to figure out how to run this place. I do a lot of projects. I bring some of my projects here to the shop so I can work on them, especially like my candles. I do a lot of labeling here and whatnot. And ideas. I love my window. I have a beautiful window right here that faces Main Street, and I'm always like, okay, what's my next window display gonna be? My boyfriend built almost every single display in here. And so it's been a long road, you know, trying to get displays. And at first we were just using a bunch of random pieces of furniture. It has slowly come together. I have had my shop since, I've had it so October was a year, so I've had it a little over a year, and I am still learning so much, and it's been quite a journey, like having cancer being thrown into the middle of all of this, because like I said, I opened my shop in October, then that July, that's when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I wasn't able to come back until December of last year. And so I've officially been back since December in my store, and there was a lot of, you know, there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of figuring things out, because I had a bunch of volunteers, which was truly a blessing to have a bunch of volunteers come in and, you know, just keep the store alive, which was something that It's still just, it's amazing. But there was still so much to do. So here's what I've created in the last year and a half. And I couldn't be happier in the fact that I get to bring my little cocoa beans. She's right there on her little bed. This is amazing. And I'm telling you right now, if I can do it, I know it's so cliche to say, if I can do this, anybody can do this, because I didn't know a single thing about running a business. So as you saw, this is my home away from home. This is where I am when I'm not creating content for you. And like today, I'm here creating content in my store. So again, if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And hopefully this inspired you to, start selling your creations in your space, in your town, wherever you may be. And I hope and wish you nothing but success, because there's so many of us that have this dream, and I just really hope that it comes true for you. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in my next video.